Welcome to Living Resonance. I'm Monifa, and today we're exploring the cosmic currents of the gene keys and the lunar cycle so you can cultivate your voice, live your genius, and weave your legacy in harmony with the current frequencies. So, we're currently in the lunar phase of the new moon in Cancer. That is today. So it is the Gene Key 62 and Human Design Gate 62. We're experiencing the themes of intellect, precision, and impeccability, the genius of clarity. So that's what we're talking about. Where do we get that clarity to create powerfully? Not just create amazingly powerfully. Got all these energies lined up in crazy ways. Again, if you're listening to other astrology, which I hope you are, because there's so many cool things and angles and all that stuff I don't talk about. But nobody talks about the gene keys, so I'm here for that. So yeah, so there's so many powerful ways this energy is coming together. Thinking of doing a bonus session for my birthday tomorrow because I'm feeling this energy strongly. And I want to kind of show you how these energies are showing up this time in the Western chart through Pluto and a lot of these other placements that are really impacting us strongly. So if you don't know how to read your own chart, I would recommend talking to an astrologer. There's very few AI softwares. When I say few, I mean, I know some knowledgeable people that are putting out AI chatbot astrology. And trust me when I say you need to talk to a human being who has intuition and can talk to you. Okay. So find somebody like that and find out what's going on for you right now because it will impact you for most likely at least 7 years, in my opinion. And not just you, but all of humanity, which is really the setup for the rest of the Aquarian age. So really, if we're talking about real things, we're talking about the rest of your life. And so yeah, I think we can always treat this a little lightly because we don't know anything for certain. But I promise you, the people that are paying attention to this on a regular basis and the people who are embedded into the understanding of this energy have been pointing to this for years. There have been predictions since before you were born. Trust. Okay, so it's something to pay attention to. It's a great time to look into your chart more deeply. So in this energy, we've been talking about in the June, we were talking about focus, right? With all this and stuff going on. Well, it's one thing to be clear when you have one thing to focus on. It's another when everything everywhere is happening at all at once and is yelling to be a factor in your decision making. And so we're going beyond the focus. We've moved on to July and Cancer energy, thank you, New Moon Cancer, and into depth of clarity. So when I say clarity, we're not talking about average clarity here. We're talking about real clarity. It's not the narrowing of focus, it's the widening so that you're big enough container, a big enough channel to receive wisdom, inspiration, life force, energy. Okay. So this is about building a future with this energy. And the energy that we have and the energy that we choose to put into the things that we're creating is what we're choosing to give our life force to. That is what's making this the most potent time in our history, right? So the Gene Key says when we follow that energy, that it's about being inspired, it's about inspiration. And that's how we get precision, and that creates the impact that we want to make when we create things, right? And it's that ability that allows you to create powerfully and immediately. Now we have again a lot of other things going on in the chart that is talking about immediacy. If nothing else, the immense fire energy that is in our world right now. Okay? That's true for the rest of the year, but especially because we are in fire season in Chinese astrology. So we are in fire season, and if you're not hot, then I don't know what to tell you. You're not living anywhere near me, that's for sure. You might be on the other side in the winter. But over here, it's hot, okay? It's lighting things up, and it's also keeping things a little mm, turbulent, and therefore it may feel frozen. It may feel like that nothing's moving as fast as it should be. Okay. But that's not because things aren't happening. It's because so much is happening that you won't see the effect of it and the wave of it and the true magnitude of the change until later. This is why it's big enough wave to carry the rest of your life, really. Okay. So when we're talking about Gene Key 62, we're talking the shadow of intellect, the gift of precision, the city of impeccability. And Richard Rudd calls this section of the chapter the stupidity of being clever. Yes, you heard me correctly. Intellect is the shadow. And what he talks about is that it's the shadow of thinking of the skill of manipulating knowledge, okay? Which is totally different than understanding that includes your experience, things that have been happening in your world, the profound truth of what has made things meaningful to you and what makes meaning in your world and your perspective. So it's really the intelligence of the heart and not intellect of the mind. So that's real intelligence, and intellect can get in the weeds a little. It happens when we are identifying ourselves with the way thoughts are happening in our head. If we think that our thoughts are only ours, then that's the biggest kind of gotcha, right? We are repeating thoughts from our programming, from parents, from commercials, from everything. Yeah. So we can't believe every thought we have. We have to be, and we can't think that it's makes us who we are. We can't think that our thoughts make us who we are. Because when we are attaching to them in that way, we can't find the stuff that is true and meaningful and potent to our what we're creating, what our reality, what we're manifesting. Okay. So the way that we tend to do this is that we think that we know everything because we can see it, because we named it, because we wrote books about it. We think we know everything. Okay. And this information is basically saying, yeah, no, you have a thing that you've named it, but that doesn't mean you understand it. It doesn't mean you understand everything there is to know about that thing. This can be true of nature itself, right? I always use an example of looking at a tree and being like, that's a tree. I know that. And think that you know everything there is to know about that tree. You probably don't know all the intellectual information. What's its name? What's its genus? What's its species? All those things. But more importantly, like we've only been taught to see the tree, right? We've not been taught to feel a tree, most of us. We've not been taught to learn from a tree. Like, how does something so grand that can live hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of years, how does that happen? What can we learn from that? Right? We don't know it in that way, right? And so what tends to happen is that we latch on to ideas to feel more in control, to feel more like we have things going for us in our life, like we can do everything we want. And I'm not saying like I know this anything personally or anything because this is only my son's science key, right? So it's not like I've lived this at all, I have to say. But I can interpret. No, I'm kidding. I know this intimately. The programming partner here is 61, psychosis. So when we are believing everything we think we know, we can make ourselves crazy. And trust me when I say I have the receipts on that. Okay. cycling thoughts that never conclude or have a decision, being stuck in these ideas and not being able to get myself out of it. And even now, when I hear other people do like these cyclic thoughts and patterns, I immediately have to break in to find the focus because I will go on that roller coaster ride with them if I don't check myself and others. I do it gently because I have to, because it is my gift, right? But I also do it with the eye to let's just talk about what's real here. Like what is really going on, right? I'm not going to go with you on your little stories, that are just about proving how much you know. So on the repressive side of this energy, it looks like being obsessive, 62. Focusing on small things and details to avoid suffering. So this is like me, where I like to go study a whole brand new subject and learn somebody's whole job instead of focusing on what I said I was going to be working on, right? This is actually a result of focusing on things overly much that aren't your business, is that you don't actually have any personal creativity coming out. And to me, this is part of what creates a psychosis. When I do this and I absorb a ton of information and never share it, never talk to other people about it, never do up a webinar or a workshop. I love to do workshop. If I don't share it with my clients, if I don't share it on stage when I was a singer and performer, then it does something to the nervous system. It locks me down in a way that is not fun, and not healthy. And not healthy. It comes up in my health, right? So that's on the repressive side. On the reactive side, it's pedantic. It's using intellect to attack, to defend deep insecurity. You use obscure details and facts to disprove and disempower others. And and this is something that I find myself doing whenever I'm kind of feeling like it's my only leg to stand on. Like I have to use what I know to feel like I have any footing in a space. It's out of fear, right? And but I've seen this mostly actually on the reactive side. I've seen this mostly as a defense against why I am not creating. So it's usually an excuse. It's usually an excuse. And they usually sound really good too because people believe them because they have details and information. We're all about information in this last age. And that's over now, right? The last age is gone. Nobody cares about your details anymore. They care about the depth of your understanding. Have you have you been doing the thing you're spouting, right? With other people. This came up a lot around a full moon last month. It came up in the system, it came up in your body, it came up in your family, it came up in your relationships. Are you the proof of what you preach? Yeah. So, how do we move through into the genius and the offering of this gift of precision? Well, we either have to stop questioning the world or start questioning. You got to stop if you're in the repression and trying to create these ideas. I'm sorry, you have to question if you're in the repression. Yeah, because you basically closed your ideas down to what you already know, and you're not allowing yourself to open up out of fear to understand on a deeper, higher, however you want to say it, level. On the reactive side, you have to stop questioning everything. You can't argue yourself to meaning. And I've seen this again in a lot of people, a lot of my friends that use words as defense. And a lot of it happens in questioning. They question and they question and they question, and they think it gives them the control to feel better. But it doesn't work that way. Yeah. You have to go to what is actually meaningful to you to feel good about a thing. And your questions are just defending what is already painful. Yeah. So we want to do one of those two things. Figure out what side of that we both are available. Both are available. Those shadows are available to the max right now. And trust me when I say. Now, if we've been able to find that out, no, I'm kidding. You don't have to. You just have to move yourself into a higher vibration. So, whatever tools you are using to move yourself into higher vibration, this is how we anchor things over here in my world, in the vocal alchemy world, right? We use the Omans method to shift ourselves into a higher vibration, a higher experience, a higher potency. Yeah. And the gift is available. Aha, it's automatic because it's in the air. It's in the air in the new moon. So you might not have this in your chart, but it's totally available to you in this time. How cool is that? Precision is about inspiration. It's how we receive the truth of what wants to be applied in what we know. Okay. It's usually inspired. It's usually an original thought that comes from the the accumulation of everything that you're made up of and everything that you've learned, but also everything that you are present to and passionate about. And so if you're in this gift, nothing's dull and dry. It's all kind of cool. It's all nice. See how interesting I am today? I'm like immersed in my energy. So communication with economy and exactness. When I'm doing well, I stay on, on track. If I'm in high vibration, if I move out, you can hear me stuttering, and that's part of the makeup too, for me. And so yeah, but when I'm on, and I say things, I don't even remember I say them, but they are exactly what needs to be said. And that's the gift, precision. It results in beauty and poignancy. It creates seamless information and movement. And it really is a gift of communicators, speakers, writers, artists, actors, scientists, even, right? It's great if you have the data, but can you get it across in a way that people understand the impact of that data, right? So, me deep diving on the gene keys and human design is me bringing the data in a way that can have impact. Okay. And a lot of the way that I help other people is that them bringing their wisdom, accumulated knowledge from arenas across spectrums and understandings, and bring it in a way that makes an impact. Right. So that's a lot of what I'm here to do in my gift. The heart will lead the way. So I'm also the person that's going to help you tune into the heart. I'm not going to let you keep pretending like the heart thing isn't happening. We're not ignoring every emotion. We're going to talk about that thing. Okay. And it helps people to be able to feel you, is how I think of it. So if you aren't connected to your heart, if you aren't connected to the thing that wants to be created, spoken, sung through you, if you're not physically connected in a way that you can feel it, then others won't either, and they won't listen. But if you feel it deeply, they can't help but listen. And that's the difference my work makes for people. So this is how you want to do it. You want to transform through your heart. You want to connect, yeah? You want to bring light into the world. You want to bring your light, what you have to disperse into the world. You want to allow language to create spaces, rooms, moods, understanding, transformation, yeah? Spells. And so that's part of it. Part of that is the precision of language. Yeah. And poetry is a form of that. And some spells you can think of them a little bit as poetry. And other ways, it's the precision of the alchemical elements that the spell includes that brings that into being. So for those who are into that kind of thing, that's the fun part. That is the fun part. It's the voice and how it vibrates. It's not just saying the word. Again, it's about feeling the words. If you don't feel them, and our singers know this, if you don't feel them, the audience will not go with you. They're not going to take that trip with you. They're just going to look at you and analyze, right? So we try to do it intellect alone. All we get is intellect in return. We don't get buy-in. We don't get connection. You don't get heartfelt, deep relationships, right? So we have to go first in order for that to happen. So, with so much going on in the nervous system because of everything that is happening in the world and everything that is not, right? Like the things that you want to happen that haven't happened yet. Um, it really starts to treat the reasons why it hasn't happened yet and all the things that are happening as equally important. So the nervous system goes a little wacky. All right. It's one of those things like, ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. I know this intimately. And that is part of it. You really have to understand that the nervous system is connected to, I mean, the brain is the nervous system. So if your thought process isn't working, then part of the problem is your nervous system. And if you want your brain to be clear, if you want clarity, you must ground the nervous system. You must go online with intention. And when I say online, I mean using that flow of energy. Okay, so 62 arrives a bit like in the Gene Keys. It feels like a little bit of an editor. It's telling you not everything deserves your energy. Not every little detail, everything outside, everything that could ever happen is important. Yeah. This it tells you what that shadow is. It's basically saying you're trying to do something that doesn't work. Right? And Karen Curry Parker with human design, and her version is quantum human design, calls 62 preparation. She gives us a practical embodiment here. And what she's telling us is that um, why she chose preparation. There is a difference and distinction here between them. But if you think about it, it goes to the same place, right? And we're sort of paying attention to all the information all at once. We're going to prepare by focusing on the things that will lead us to the right information that we can use to be potent. Yeah. And so you don't prepare so they can hoard information and never share it, right? Or hoard our understanding to have a certainty that makes us feel better without anything really changing. We are here to prepare so that we can be even more coherent, even more in tune with our truth. Okay. And so while we're often preparing, we're rehearsing our fears instead of creating the new reality. So preparation out of a fear of what you don't want to happen is just a waste of time in this energy. We really want to lock in to what is potent to our creations and what is meaningful that wants to be created from our work and our wisdom and ourselves and our experience. Okay. So the challenge here in this energy is to not worry, is to not worry and over prepare based on that worry, and to not be distracted by worry, and to not let fear keep you from doing anything at all or not preparing at all. Ooh, I used to do this so much in school. That's my poof, I had procrastination down to a science. And I would be so scared that I would do it wrong that I would wait to the absolute last minute and then rush in and do the best I could and be like, well, that's all I could do at the time I had. And that was my excuse, right? To control how I felt people would respond to what I did. Yeah. So again, I'm not saying that, I'm above any of this. I'm just saying I've learned some lessons. Okay. I've learned some lessons around this energy. So ultimately, we're in this space where our inner alignment. So what we know as truth about who we are and what we're here for is matching our outer action. We're doing things based on the truth, on the dream. We talked about this a lot last month. We're doing things based on our hope for humanity itself, because that's what this energy is here for, is to bring us into the new age of humanity, the Aquarian age. So I got a quote for you. Karen Curry Parker says, this preparation is orient ourselves toward the future. So this is the goal, right, of this energy, to orient ourselves toward the future, not by rushing to act, but by attuning to the subtle inner signals that guide aligned and effective action. To me, this is again, and I know why nobody said it, intuition. It's intuition, it's inspiration. It's not in either of these and these books that I pull this information from. It's just what I have experienced it to be. This is the actual happening of wisdom coming true in a moment. It's inner congruence through clearing a self-doubt, releasing patterns, strengthening vision, so that speech matches what we see. And I'm always refascinated when I go into this information because it keeps saying what I've been saying. Yeah, like I've been saying that confidence comes from clarity, not of what we think we know and what we should know to look intellectual and to sound professional, but how we feel and how good can we connect to that in the moment while we're transferring that information in your speech, and that your speech is matching what you see, right? In the vision, the seeing is the vision, yeah? So what we do, well, the goal is to lessen our grip on certainty and trust that what you need is available in the now. What you need for now is already available. And true preparation is about staying focused. It's about being present. It's about being in tune. This is all the point of Oman's method. Oh, and when I say in tune to your life force, which we talked about with the gene keys. Another quote: from this place of inner coherence, your actions become precise, purposeful, and in harmony with their current greater direction. I added current. That wasn't part of the with your greater direction. The rest of your life, folks. The rest of your life. So unbalanced, it feels like pressure. It feels like mental pressure. You're overthinking, you're obsessing to plan for every possibility and outcome. It can create anxiety, it can create doubt. You can get frantic just for the need of something to be able to be figured out. That's kind of the scary part right now. Like we can't really know that we know anything. Could be a lie, could be a story, could be distraction, could be, right? Could be so much. So our job is to focus on the clarity of ourselves, who we know ourselves to be. And if you don't know, then find out. This is why I do this work. If you don't know with clarity who you're being, how you're serving, then this is a great time to find out, as I said in the beginning. So ultimately, this is really about having enough access to the truth of your wisdom, which is you and the higher self spirit truth of you. It's about having enough access to that true wisdom, your life source, knowing how to access life source, connect, and receive knowingness from that in a real way. I put it on the internets for free, y'all. It's Oma's method. It's in my voice lesson series. Okay. So check that out because you need to be able to tune in to your own intuition. And you've done it before. This is nothing that you have to go like because you don't have any idea of how it happens. Anything that inspired you to create when it wasn't there before. So any artistic activity, anytime you lost time, because that means you're connected to something beyond time. Yeah, spirit. So connect to that stuff. Got some questions, journal questions for you from Karen Curry Parker. What proof do I have that I am in the flow of preparation? Yeah. So again, how does it feel when you lose that time? Is there anything in my life right now that I need to plan for? Is there something that you're avoiding thinking about? Yeah, that's keeping you in a place where you don't actually need to be in that place anymore? Am I over planning? Does my need for contingency plans keep me stuck? Yeah, are we going beyond the scope of what's needed right now? It's another way to say that. And where in my life am I preparing from a place of anxiety rather than grounded clarity? And what would it feel like to shift into trust? And trust is about trusting that what you want, what you're creating, the way you want your life to go is immediately available, not in the future, but now, and the representation of what it feels like to be the person that that thing wants to manifest through. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, y'all, I have workshops on the website, YouTube, I guess a bit on the website, and it's all available. If you want to start with